Hey everybody, and welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. This is Survivor. We have 2 episodes to break down tonight. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello everybody, and welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV for Survivor. This is the first week that we have all 4 of us in the studio tonight. Squad goals, no. We're super excited to have everybody for once. Thank you guys all for joining us, and for everybody in the live chat, we're excited that you're here. I'm Paige Bonanno, your host. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram and all social media at Paige Bonanno.
What's up, guys? I'm Mike Rippe. You can find me on social media at Mike Rips.
What's up, everybody? Happy belated Thanksgiving. I am Timothy Michael. You can find me everywhere at I am Timothy Mike. I am Timothy Mike.
Hey guys, Domonique Price here. You can find me on all social media platforms if you so choose to at DomoniqueP_ESQ.
All right, as we said, we have 2 episodes tonight, so we don't have a ton of time, so we're going to kind of cruise through these and just, you know, give you guys as much information as we can while hitting the main points. Great episodes tonight. I think we had 2 votes, obviously, for those of you who maybe haven't watched and are tuning in to see who got voted off. JP was voted off in episode number 1, and Joe was voted off in episode number 2. I think that the wrong decision was made on both accounts. What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely. JP should have stayed. It's my boy. Miss him.
I mean, I just think that Chrissy should have been the one to go home for number 1, and then she wouldn't have gotten immunity on number 2. And then Ben, I mean, I love the plan that they did with Ben, but I think that he was the smarter choice tonight to go out.
I agree with you. I feel like JP I'm not as upset about. Yes,
Yeah,
Chrissy
who cares?
probably should have won, but JP going home I'm fine with. Ben, I do agree with you, should have went home on the second trial
Okay.
because he's more dangerous.
No. So you guys know that I have to keep with my moral stake in the ground, and I feel like they had an agreement of the 4. I think that they decided to have Ben play kind of like both sides, so it truly didn't allow him to have a full grasp of even if he could have been, you know, a target. So I feel like to have blindsided him in that particular moment would have been a really bad look for them as a whole.
I think
I feel like if I screamed this at the beginning of the season when it happened once, I can't now be like, okay, well, it would have been smarter because Ben would be hard to beat and not take that same stance.
Yeah.
But you can't also deny that that would have been a huge resume builder for Lauren and Ashley.
For sure.
Yeah, but you could have substituted a lot of people. You could have substituted a few people in there for being a good move. I mean, they could have done the same thing to Ashley.
Or Ryan.
I mean, yeah.
I still don't understand why Ryan's still playing this game. Confused.
So we'll get into all how this happened. First, in episode 1, the reward, I think, was what really solidified what happened throughout the whole 2 episodes. So in reward, Lauren wins, and then she brings Devin, Ben, and Ashley. A lot of people, I mean, maybe didn't see that coming. It was a great move on her part because, you know, we see that this is where we kind of solidify those 4. I think it was a smart move on her part.
I thought it was interesting that Ryan said the only reason why she had actually picked them was because they hadn't actually won a reward yet, when in fact she picked them because they were actual people that she wanted to start an alliance with.
Exactly.
Right, and this just goes to prove that everything changes in an instant. So I was ecstatic that this happened.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan has showed tonight for sure that he's kind of clueless in what's going on. He also said at one point that him and Chrissy were playing a more strategic game.
And he also said, well, you know, you never know when you don't know what's happening, it's probably happening to you, not thinking that he hasn't been in on any of these conversations, you know? So when the final, or these 4, I keep calling the final 4 now, when these 4 go on reward, so we see, you know, they take a plane, it's beautiful, they get to eat, and then they are all sitting there and basically telling each other all the secrets that they know. So Lauren has an advantage. Devin tells them about Ryan's merge idol, you know, and this, you know, they basically solidified over a beer. And Lauren, I feel like, just showed a whole new side of her. As we saw, her gameplay has just stepped up so many levels, and I feel like she's really one of the strongest contenders for sure, especially after tonight.
I agree with you. And we can't obviously forget about the letters from the loved ones, because I feel like that, and they said it themselves, that really solidified the bond as well.
Yeah.
Well, they also almost didn't see the letters.
Yeah, and so Lauren
They
was like,
almost
what's
did
that?
it. And you think, because normally they've been like, oh, at rewards, you have to look for clues or look for idols or whatever. And Lauren, we saw, you know, getting really emotional. And another side of her is seeing that she's had to work for every penny that she's gotten. And, you know, it's like she's doing it for her daughter. I just love when we can see those emotional moments for once, you know, after all the craziness. Also, speaking of after the letters were done, Ben finds an idol.
randomly as he's going up on a mountain to read his letters from his wife and kid.
Yeah.
Also, I really loved his excitement when finding that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he's so excited.
Like
That's
throwing his hat and
hat in the
everything. I thought
air.
that was great. Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, so Ben finds the idol. Great for him. He's like a Marine. He's on a mission. He's going to get it done, and he finds it.
And he's like telling no one.
Yeah.
Because he clearly sees what
Good
has
for
happened.
him.
Yeah.
Which it was kind of nerve-wracking at the end because he said he wasn't going to play the idol, and we were like, oh, I don't know. But he obviously made the right choice.
Yeah.
First immunity challenge.
I have a question,
Yeah.
and I was gonna wait till the end, but I feel like I may forget, so I'm gonna ask now. Do you guys feel like Ben made a mistake at stepping up to be the double agent because now Lauren, Ashley, and Devin have been able to kind of create this closer of a bond?
Well, I think that Ben would be the target out of those four regardless. Regardless if he had stepped up as a double agent or not, he is the target in those four. Like Ashley said at the end, we all look like chumps compared to
But
him.
maybe not, though, because Ashley got votes tonight and Ben didn't.
She
Right.
did.
And also, you know how it is. Like, things change so quickly
Yeah.
that who knows,
So-
really. Like,
Right. And then Ben really didn't even come up with the idea to be like the scapegoat or the person
He's just
to
kind
think
of
of this idea.
executing
Devin was
it.
the one to be like, no, you
Yeah,
need
but
to
he
do
could have
this.
been like, y'all know I can't act. Like, I hate Joe. This isn't gonna work.
That's true, but I mean, you can't deny that that plan from
It
Devin
worked.
was
No, it
brilliant.
worked.
So of
It
course
was
Ben was
brilliant,
gonna, like,
but it's
jump
like,
on
but
that.
now for Ashley to even have that unction to say, hey guys, I think we
Good
should
word.
vote out Ben. It's just kind of like, why Ashley? A few like one vote ago, you didn't have this type of confidence, and
Right.
now you and Devin are walking around like you guys are like kingpins, and that's just totally not necessarily the case. Or maybe it is now. What do you guys think? Do you think Devin and Ashley are now running this game?
No.
I think
Well-
Ashley is trying to run it more because she brought the idea to Devin when Lauren spoke to her. And so
I think Ashley is taking what happened 2 episodes ago, or 2 episodes now, to heart when they said, Ashley, you're just like kind of riding on people's coattails. You're not doing anything, when Joe said to her.
I forgot about
and
that.
I feel like now she's like, you know what? I really need to step up my game because otherwise you're going to get to the end and nobody's going to vote for you.
Well, speaking of confidence, we see during the first immunity that they're allowed to sit out if they feel confident enough in this game. And we see who sits out is Devin, Ben, and Lauren. Ashley is in on that alliance, and Ashley didn't sit out. So we know that Ashley clearly, even though she feels confident with that, she's not going to go running crazy with it like the other three.
Yeah.
But I appreciated Devin, Ben, and Lauren sitting out and getting that dessert to finish their meal, just saying.
I mean, I totally disagreed with
saying.
that because I felt like there were kind of, I don't know, I was just waiting for this whole plan in these 2 episodes to unfold or to unravel, and I felt like them 3 sitting out at that specific time.
It didn't look good.
It didn't look good.
If Ashley-
especially after the reward challenge.
Especially if Ashley would have sat out. Oh my gosh. But
Right.
I feel like Ben was the biggest target at that point. Like, regardless of if he has an idol or not, regardless of if he solidified this 4, I personally don't think you should ever sit out an immunity challenge.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
What do you guys
I
think?
agree
Would
with
you ever sit out an immunity challenge regardless of how good you felt and regardless of what you got for sitting out? I don't think I ever
I mean,
would.
as much as I can't spell, I wouldn't have sat out
But-
of that immunity.
Also, it's pretty like
Seriously.
it's pretty bold of them after they had already eaten to then sit out.
then get
eat.
dessert.
Exactly.
It's like
Yeah.
you're not even hungry. Like, you
Right.
don't need this
But-
nourishment.
But
Right.
respect
And
to
look at
do
who
that,
won-
like, you know.
and look at who
But that's
won
a real
immunity.
OG. That's
That's
so, and I don't want to
straight,
like us to keep talking over each other, but that was like a real OG move.
That's-
Like, y'all don't know that I'm safe, but I'm safe.
But look at who won that reward, or that immunity then. Ashley.
Yeah.
The one that didn't sit out, because even though she could have been as confident as she wanted with that group, and she won, so.
Also, that was like a workout, like legit workout.
The challenge.
I'm like, did you see
Yeah.
Ashley's thighs? I was like, yeah, I would have
Yes.
been done.
I actually had that surfer position and it was amazing.
So this is kind of the point where they make the decisions to infiltrate from the inside. And, at Tribal, Ben plays a great double agent.
Yeah.
He plays a great double agent throughout this whole thing. And I don't know. I mean, I thought he did a great job. I'm just trying to get my stuff straight, to be honest.
Yeah, no, he's been
Well,
acting really well.
Not only did, before we just get to Tribal, not only did Ashley and Lauren step up their gameplay, but Devin also played up his gameplay because
He's about to play it, and he's like this, walking off the ledge, and he's right there in his gameplay, and one more move,
Well, Devin,
and he's going to kill
Devin
himself.
thought of this whole thing.
He did, but it's like, here's the thing. You can be brilliant and out of nowhere come at it with like this amazing strategic mindset, but you don't have to come at it from the perspective of being super cocky about it. Like, in a lot of
think Devin
Devin's.
was
I didn't get that.
I
at all
feel
from
like in
Devin.
his one-on-ones, at least I felt like he was coming across like, oh my God, I'm running this game now. Like,
But I feel like the difference in like when he talks like, oh, I'm running the game, like he doesn't seem cocky about it to me. He just is like
I feel like he's flabbergasted by it. I
Yeah.
feel like he's like, I'm running the game. Like, I can't believe it.
But I want us to take it back. I want us to take it back for a second. And every single time that we've seen a player get into in the mode
Mm-hmm.
that Devin's in, what happens every single time?
But this, yeah, I get that. But
Yeah.
this is what
I'm just
wondering.
saying, stay humble.
Yeah, stay humble. But
Keep your eyes
Devin's the
open.
one that says Chrissy and Ryan have way too much power,
Right.
and they're the ones that, they're way too comfortable. We need to vote them out. He basically says, if we don't take them out now, then we won't have the numbers. Yet, neither one of them was the one that was voted out.
Right.
Crazy.
JP has no power in this game, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, he's not in the game.
Well, but he's the one that they took out.
But I
just
honestly
don't think it was a smart move.
honestly didn't think. I don't know. It didn't bother me, but I don't know why they picked JP.
It seemed, yeah.
It was, and that was the one thing sometimes that I hate, how there clearly had to have been some back conversation and we don't get to see it because they never even like give us a clear understanding as to why JP. Like you know that Ryan has an idol, so why not put his name out there to flesh the idol out? We know that Chrissy is extremely strategic in her gameplay, and she's not only strategic, she's actually a really good player. We've seen that through several challenges already.
She's
so it's
insanely
like,
smart.
when you know that you have them at the point where they're not expecting it, why not take out Chrissy?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think that she should have been the one to be taken out tonight.
Agreed.
Yeah, Mike and Joe, to everybody else's, I don't know what the word is, to their,
Dismay?
no, like when you do something well, to their, whatever.
Sorry,
Disappointment?
James
No.
in the live chat said the reason why JP got voted out was because he has large pecs, which I agree.
He
You
was
think
a
they'd want to
physical-
keep him in for that?
I mean, I think that just proves that everybody else is flabbergasted and why
Right.
JP went home too.
Anyways, so Mike and Joe don't know that Ben is in on this, and basically when we get back to camp, Chrissy was just very thrown off by the way everybody was treating her, especially Joe, when Joe, first of all, had no say in this.
Chrissy was just having sour
Puppet,
grapes.
puppet.
She was having
I think she was sour, but like they were, the way that they were talking to her kind of when they got back, like, well, we're not going to discuss anything. I feel like they never do that.
Yeah,
I feel
but-
like they
that,
talk
that
about
was
it.
different.
Yeah, but Chrissy, when she was in the powerful position, was running this game, like in charge, felt so
Yes.
on top of it. And when she
Yeah.
finally had a little taste of her own medicine, she couldn't handle it. I
You
don't
saw
like
her
that.
She had to
too.
take a
Right.
It's
nap.
like, at least
She
if you're
was
going to do that,
tired.
handle
Yes.
it a little bit.
She
Like,
was hungry.
Yeah,
Well-
let's not forget that this is kind of the first time that we've seen a position that Ben has kind of been in this like undercover agent where they've been able to finagle the votes to where it doesn't look like Ben is actually against them when he's with them. So for them to be like, no, I'm not saying anything, it was just protecting their gameplay.
and also respect to Ben, because Ben for a while has not liked Joe, but he's gone along
Yes.
with these other
Yes.
plans, been a team player,
Yes.
done all these things, allowed Joe to continue.
That's a great
for
point.
a bigger
That is.
plan.
It's an amazing point, and it also goes to show that Joe, if the tables were reversed, Joe would not have been able to play this type of role
No.
that Ben is playing. And I think it goes even more to add to his resume if he does
Agreed.
make it to the final three.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
dope move.
And
Yeah.
also, we're about to get there, but Ben also kind of nudged Ryan into playing his idol.
Yeah,
He
he's like,
did.
he's like, if I had one, I'd totally play it.
Oh,
right.
totally.
And to do that when you already have your own is
Right?
such a boss move.
Yeah.
So boss,
Right?
Yeah. Another
And
really-
now that I'm sorry, and
Yeah.
now they don't know that he has it,
No
and now
idea.
your three are thinking about turning on you. Like, what epic more move can you have when they turn on you, and then you're like, psych, bitches.
Yeah.
yeah. Another really great point from Sheena123 in the chat. So she's shocked that
Love Sheena.
Ashley voted for JP. Just to take a step back really quick, because I felt like it is a little bit shocking because
That actually
Ashley
voted
and
for JP.
JP in the beginning, remember, were like this power couple, and now the tables have turned to where it's Chrissy and Ashley.
Well, I
mean,
also
Ryan.
want to bring up Ryan and Devin, because to that same point, Ryan basically lied to Devin about the idol, and Devin just doesn't trust him after that. So Devin flipped on Ryan too.
It's just funny how things turn so fast.
Well,
in
it's
this
Survivor.
game.
We say this all the time. Week to week, it could be somebody else on
Of
the
course.
bottom.
Yeah. This
No.
is why it's such a great show.
Yeah.
Expect
Absolutely.
the unexpected.
I do just want to point out about how Ryan, sorry, real quick, just going back to when they were at camp after this happened, how Chrissy was so sour about it, and then Ryan was just very gracious about it, basically saying, thank you guys for not voting me off. And I feel like that
is a smarter
played
player.
better in his advantage.
It plays a big role in who they think of in the next opportunity to vote out. It's like, if you're a pain in the butt to be around, like, I don't want to do this. Like, Chrissy starts laying down and she's so hungry and she hasn't had enough food. But as soon as she wins that immunity, it's like kicking her step. Like, she's back at it.
Because she just has that little, like, that cockiness about her.
She doesn't have a good ability to stay kind of in the middle where
she doesn't.
Either on the top or it's all everything is the worst. There's no middle. You gotta have a little middle there.
You have to have a good
and
middle.
she even admitted that, though. She said in her everyday life, she is control of everything. She is a control freak.
when
I
she
can see that about her.
Right, and when she doesn't have control, she
loses it.
Right.
Whereas you see Dr. Mike is just like, can I give you a hug? Like, he's always there for everybody and right in the middle of it.
Even when people are mean to him. Because I feel like Chrissy has been especially, like, kind of on his back, and even at her lowest, he's still just a good person.
Absolutely.
He's like, well, can I help?
Absolutely, moving into our second reward, Survivor Spa, which would be great. Team 1 was Lauren, Ryan, Mike, and Chrissy. Team 2 was Ben, Ashley, Joe, and Devin, which I just thought was funny because if it would have been Team 2 without Joe, it would have been the whole squad if Lauren would have been on it. But speaking of Lauren, she killed it. She pushed everything with her whole body. She's so into this game.
Specifically.
Yes, she was on beast mode.
Absolutely. And so basically what happens? Oh, Blue wins, yeah. But also the fact that Joe wins with these 4 and says, wow, finally, I'm not on the bottom. I finally have a true alliance. I'm like, winning a reward doesn't mean that. But
that doesn't mean that.
But okay. But also once we get to the spa and we're kind of like having this relaxing treatment, Ashley and Devin start talking about how kind of scary it is that Ben's so good at playing this double agent, and how scary it is that he's such a good, like, liar and manipulator in their eyes after this, even though they're the ones that told him to do it. But we kind of saw there for the first time them thinking about maybe voting out Ben.
This just goes to prove that everything you do in Survivor, no matter how good of a person you're trying to be to benefit your alliance in this case, just can turn around to bite you. Like, if you sit around in the challenge,
to do this.
that puts a target on your back.
Yes.
If you are asked to do something and you do it, that puts a target on your back. I'm like, really though, guys?
But furthermore, just be clear that even though they had a conversation about it, no one ended up voting for Ben.
Of course.
So
but the name was still thrown out there, though.
It was.
So it's still in their minds.
But because clearly Lauren and Ashley recognize that Ben is a threat to them winning. And so it makes sense.
Well, I think that also Devin, Ashley, and who's the other one in their alliance?
Lauren.
Sorry, and Lauren put Ben. Maybe they should have changed around who the person was that was going to be doing this double agent thing, because they put Ben in, I guess in my eyes, the best position there is, because he's aligned with them, and he also looks like he's aligned with the other team. So if you guys were in that position, would you have put Ben in that spot, or would you have tried to get somebody else in that?
I'm trying to figure out who else it would be, and the only person that I would think of would be Devin.
But Devin came up with the idea, so if he was like, hey guys, here's a cool idea, I'm gonna do it, they'd be like, you know?
Yeah.
Why do you think it was Ben that they chose?
I don't know, maybe because he has such a tight alliance with Chrissy.
I feel like because it would have been easy to play off of the relationship with Joe and Ben is why I felt like they originally picked it.
And I guess because he's King Arthur, so it just looked to them like, oh, we can get this big threat out. I don't know. I mean,
that's an interesting point.
Yeah. So also the scrambling that went on when we were back, Ryan scrambling to work with Mike, and Chrissy with Lauren especially, who just seemed so fake and desperate.
Yes.
So desperate. And it's like, you've never she says, Ryan and I have talked about going to the final 3 with you. Has he ever told you that? I'm like, girl, you're pushing it way too hard right now. Way too hard.
I'm so glad you brought this up, because we saw the same thing with Rourke in the beginning of the season when they were like, oh, Rourke, let's work together.
Chrissy.
Yeah, Rourke and she was like, and then I love how they call each other out. They're like, no, you don't want to work with me. You only want to work with me because you're desperate.
But we have seen Chrissy do this twice now then, to Rourke and to Lauren, and neither of them are having it, because Chrissy works with who she wants to work with at the time, and then she tries to scramble last minute.
But so does Ryan, but the way Ryan does it has a little bit more kind of like coax on it, but which is why I love that Dr. Mike called him on his bullshit. Mike was like, wait a second. I came to you for weeks and you didn't want to work for me. Sorry.
Unfortunately for you.
It's just not going to work. Like, I loved it. He didn't try to pander him. He didn't try and, like, give him false hope and be like, yeah, I'm going to think about it. He was real. Yeah. And that's why I love Dr. Mike. You guys, I'm rooting for Dr. Mike from here right now. I'm praying that he just wins immunity next week and he just blows these people out the water, you
He
guys.
said he
Keep
can't
praying.
Wait on it. Wait on it. Let him make it to the final.
He said he can't go home without winning a Survivor immunity, so
Oh, man, we
hopefully
can
he
win
does.
a
I mean,
long
we
time.
talked about
praying.
He
people
might need to
being-
play next season and the season after.
He
Right?
might have to play with himself.
We talked about people being cocky a little bit earlier. Don't you get that vibe from Dr. Mike though a little bit? That he's
No,
getting a little bit more cocky.
No,
I did.
No,
I
I
think-
think it was a pure. Now, when we talk about pure joy in Devin, I think that's in Dr. Mike. I think he's really just like, yo, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's genuinely excited. Like, think about it. When he first started, he reminds me of David. Like, not a super big threat physically. He didn't really get along socially with a lot of people, you know. But he just he had a really good perseverance. He has a great story.
I understand that, but then
love
when
him.
you're looking at his one-on-one, and he's like, "Oh, I was the jester, and now I'm Merlin, and I'm gonna make these people disappear one by one."
he's
I'm like,
kidding.
"Oh, get out of here!"
And then you have to realize that the
Like, bye.
producers, when it comes to those
I'm
one-on-ones,
sure,
really does
but
coax
he
you.
just
Yeah.
seemed a little cocky. Though.
I think if we're talking about cocky, I think at this point Devin is way more cockier than
No, I don't
Dr.
think
Mike.
either of them are. Chrissy for sure. And I know
Well, Chrissy's been cocky since the day she landed on the island. So.
Yeah.
What about Lauren? Is Lauren cocky at all?
No,
I don't. Here's
I
the
didn't
thing.
get a
I
cocky
don't.
vibe
I
from
don't
Lauren.
get a cockiness from Lauren.
that's
I
just
get,
who Lauren is. She's just like, I'm not going to talk to you if I don't want to.
and I felt like that day one with Lauren.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know we're moving kind of fast, guys. We're trying to stay on track, and these episodes have been pretty long. So just let us know in the live chat if you guys have any questions that we skipped by.
Yeah, and we see all of your comments, you guys. We are reading them. I'm sorry we're not shouting you guys out.
And Thomas, I love that comparison of Dr. Mike and Cochran. I love that he
Cochran
really is
2.0.
just trying to have, like, you know, lighten the mood.
Yeah, absolutely. So immunity number 2, who wins it? But Chrissy, the one that needed it, because she probably would have been the one going home tonight. The challenge looked like a lot of fun, actually, and you know it was kind of neck and neck until you get to the puzzle.
Yeah.
Even if you're far behind,
I would have
doesn't
sat on the
matter.
floor.
Yeah.
Crisscross applesauce.
Crisscross applesauce.
I think my favorite part of the challenge, by the way, though, is that when you don't know how to spell it, and then
shows.
you're waiting to see someone else kind of get it, and then once you get enough of the letters that you see them, then you're like trying to catch up.
Okay, we have to talk about this because we saw Devin do it to Chrissy, and me and Paige like called it. We were like, as soon as Chrissy was like got to the end, we were like, oh, she's so
She's
smart,
getting it.
she's gonna get it. But then I saw Devin like looking at her thing, and if he had won it over her, I would have been pissed.
That is tough.
But it
we
would have
think
been
that-
really funny.
But do we think that it's fair that they don't have like dividers up for
this
when
is
there's
not
like
a
something like
voting
this?
booth.
That's the
Crazy.
that's the
All is
competition.
fair in
But I'm
Survivor.
sure, like, if you were the one to figure it out first
Oh,
and
yeah.
somebody like did
Here's
it
the
on
thing.
you would be pissed.
Tim. I can't spell. It never would
We've
have been me.
established this, but if this is an alternate universe and you could spell,
Neither can Devin. He said he doesn't even have a 12-letter
Nope.
word in his vocabulary.
Nope. You should see me trying to play Wheel of Fortune. It's just not going to happen.
no.
It's not going to happen.
Real quick, Devin comes up with a plan about using Lauren's extra vote, or saying that they were going to use Lauren's extra vote, and you had said that this just isn't going to work.
This is a terrible
And
plan.
can you just explain what the plan was and why it was so bad?
Well, they wanted to like fake them out by saying that they were going to use the 2 votes
Flush
to
the
get
idol.
to get the vote, but then they were going to be screwed in the long run, basically.
There was
long
just
story
too
short.
many components.
They
to
were
the
never going to be able
plan.
to, like, one of the people that they didn't vote off was going to be like, yo, I thought you used extra vote, and then they would have counted and it would have been
Yeah.
So stupid.
It was stupid.
But when
But
we
you're
were-
talking to Mike and Joe here, so I felt like they knew their audience. They knew it wasn't like a Chrissy or a Ryan that they could float this idea past them.
Go ahead.
Did we talk about tribal? Are we about to talk
No,
about
we're about to talk
tribal?
about tribal.
Yeah.
'Cause
But just going with that really quick, we had said because this is kind of where Ashley and Lauren started to talk about Ben because you know they look like chums compared to him. What is so funny? But basically, Ashley, Lauren, and Devin, when they're talking about Ben, we had said, you and I had said, you were the opposite of this. But basically, we had said, why would the 3 of them vote for Ben when later Joe, Mike, Ryan, and Chrissy, you know, it's 4 against 3 in that
Right.
point. So what?
Have I not worn my glasses on live?
This is
she's new.
Domonique. She is.
Today's my first day here ever.
Was there something you wanted to say about tribal?
Yes.
I just the way that so we know Joe gets voted out, but the way that for the entire season I was not on Joe's team. Like I don't think any of us
No.
really were.
Yeah.
But
He was
I
very
will
irritating.
say he kind of went out, and I had a little bit of appreciation for him
Yeah.
being like cool with the way he went out and understanding his game, and being like, look,
Yeah.
I played my game, I did my thing,
Yeah.
and you
They
got
got me.
He knows who he is in
and
this
that
game.
part I appreciated that he went out with like a little bit of class. I felt like at least he owned it. And I also like the whole coconuts thing.
I thought it was
fun.
so cute.
That was cute.
Yeah.
That
But
was
now I
cute.
feel bad because Mike's out in the world by himself now.
Yeah.
At the beginning, Joe had said, I'm mad that somebody else was playing the villain last time. Like, he knows what his spot is in this game. You know?
I agree with you, Mike. I feel like I'm just going to piggyback on that a little bit because I felt like obviously we did not like Joe in the beginning. We certainly didn't like him throughout the season, but I felt like he was becoming more of a strategic player. And I honestly thought that people would take him further because of his dislikability
Right.
to the end so that people wouldn't vote for him.
I think that he's always been a strategic player. He found 2 idols. He knows how to play the game and manipulate and lie to people.
Yeah.
But as you said, I think getting Ben out tonight, although I love Ben and I would love to see him win this game, I think that would have been a way smarter move on that point because Joe could have been the GOAT. Nobody's voting for Joe.
I don't know.
I don't like that move.
Joe survived in this season way longer than I thought he would.
Yes.
and you never know what
Every
could
week
happen.
he's on the chopping
He could
block.
have found another idol.
Every week.
I don't. 2 things I just want to say, and tell me what you think. I don't think that. I think that taking Ben out would have been a bad move for their own gameplay moving forward. I think keeping him a little bit longer and then trying it is a better move. But also, do you think that if Joe was on another season of Survivor, he would play it differently and better, or do you think he'd just do the same thing?
I think he definitely did the same thing. I think he may.
I think he learned from it because towards the end of this season, when he finally went out the last couple episodes, he was more relaxed and he kind of understood there's another way. Whereas you can't just be like attacking everyone at the start and being so like just throwing yourself at it. And I feel like if he came back for one more season, he might actually be a pretty good player.
I would love to see him play with nothing but villains. I would love to see.
But I don't
Survivor villain.
Yeah,
That's a great season.
I would love to see that.
But I don't think that he was like the ultimate villain. He was a little bit of a villain, but not as much. To your first point, though, Mike, I feel like them not getting Ben out now is a detriment to everybody's game because this has happened before. I mean, look at Christy in this episode. Once you say that you're going to get somebody out and then they win immunity, like things change so fast that I feel like now they're not going to get another opportunity like this again.
Huh.
Well, they might not get another opportunity to vote out Chrissy. So there.
They might not. That's true. As Chrissy,
she could win immunities from here on out. Then what?
And just look, Ben is playing a really good game, but I think Lauren wants to get rid of Ben because I mean, he obviously he's been good, but Lauren's been really good in her own right.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
maybe they should think about getting rid of Lauren.
But I feel like
how
Lauren,
good she's playing.
But
it's a good point.
I feel like
She's
Lauren
been
only
awesome.
stepped
It's a
up
really good
now
point.
in these last couple of episodes. I feel like Ben, like they've given him a nickname. He's King Arthur. Like they've put him at the top, at the head of the table. So I feel like he has been the target.
But
for
at the
a
same
while.
way, Chrissy is a target too. I don't personally feel in my own right that Ben has been elevated so much as maybe you guys think.
that Ben
That's
has
just
been
me.
so elevated.
Like I don't think
Yeah.
that Ben is #1 in the game right
No,
now.
I don't think
that's
he's
all.
number 1, but I feel
I
like
think
they
he
think he is.
They view him
Which
that
is
way.
they view him that, but from out but we have a different view. We're seeing
Yeah.
everything.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. Chrissy at the end says it right when she thinks that those 5 were together, and she says, "Wow, that's an incredibly tight
Well,
alliance."
she said that because we just listened to Joe's soliloquy of a very long
Yes.
rant
Yeah.
about how they were so tight and they were so much different than the 7, and then he gets voted out.
Yeah?
It was
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What a great way to end the
What
episode.
a great
I
way.
mean, seriously.
We only have a couple minutes left, so we're just gonna hop right into predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV
That was quick. He was
prediction.
on it.
real quick.
He was on it. So for next week, what do we see in the preview? I can't remember.
The loved ones.
I think, well, we saw in the
Oh,
preview
yeah.
that the loved ones are going to show up, and that also it looks like Ben might get an inkling that something's going on
Yes.
amongst
Yes.
them. I think that next week, Ryan or Chrissy's going home.
Can you imagine like being out there for so long, getting so into the groove, and then your loved one comes out, like they could just totally mess up your game? Like
Oh,
you guys are
totally.
doing it together, and you're like, you get mad at them when they come out to the island because they like mess you up in the challenge.
It's like your mom.
My
she's
dad
like
would
60.
kill it. Like I would play with that man any day.
Yeah.
He'd probably do better than I could.
Oh my god.
I feel like you have to be strategic even outside of Survivor. Like, tell your family when you get on, like, don't be the one to come to the island. If you're old and you can't run. Like, you have
in
to.
your application when you submit it, they ask you like who
would
is your
you-
loved
All right,
one
well,
that
then you have
would
to be
want.
strategic before
have
you
to
even
be
play.
strategic.
I think Ben might be in some trouble next week, but he has an immunity idol, and we saw that he made a fake immunity idol, so they might just try to flush one. Who
I think
knows?
that Survivor's is trying to throw us off the scent here. I think that they're going to be a strong little group, and they're
I
going to
hope
get rid
so.
of Ryan or
I
Chrissy.
hope so.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just interesting, and I'll just say this really quick. I said this while we were watching the episode tonight. It was so interesting to me that the 7 had went from the 4 went from the 7, and just as quickly as they became the 4, they were already starting to talk about going down to a 3.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah, it
like,
was
you
real
look at the
quick.
numbers, and I'm just like, Can you
Weed it out
count?
a little.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yes. I feel like that was the most naive moment of the entire night was when they were like, oh, to think that your 4 is going to work when the 7 didn't work.
Yes.
And what's his face like shouted it out. Just a little note before, because when Desi went home, I wasn't here and I was devastated. Just had to say that. For our fantasy draft, Paige, you are left with Ashley and Mike.
Ooh.
I'm left with Ryan and Lauren, which I'm really happy about.
Oh, that's good.
Mike is left with Ben. I'm sorry, Joe got cut tonight, so you're only down to one person. Dom, you're left with Christy and Devin.
Can take it or leave it.
Yeah.
I don't like either of them, so.
That's our Survivor draft. Let us know who you guys had in your draft, and also let us know how we did tonight, what questions you guys have. We love you joining us in live chat. It helps us out so much. We know this was a quick episode, but thank you guys so much for sticking it out with us. It was like a blur. But this was Survivor AfterBuzz, episodes 10 and 11. I'm your host, Paige Bonanno. You guys can find me on all social media at Paige Bonanno.
Thank you guys for watching us. Happy holidays. My name is Michael Rippe. You can catch me on social media at Mike Rips.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. I am Timothy Michael. You can find me everywhere at I am Timothy Mike. I-A-M Timothy Mike.
I truly love all of you guys. I love when you guys participate with us on Twitter and in the live chat. You guys can catch me on all social media platforms at DominiqueP_ESQ.
Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next week right here.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.